Hello there, this is Bruno speaking. I'm from Brazil, South America, but I've been living in Copenhagen since 2014. And the idea of the video today is actually to bring you the 5 best things about living in Copenhagen, but also the 5 challenges you may face once moving to this beautiful country. So one of the first things I like about being in Copenhagen is the international welcome atmosphere. So this includes if you are from Colombia, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Peru. There's a huge community of South Americans in here. So English is wide spoken, so you don't have to be worried about Danish. So if you can manage really well English, you may meet lots of students around the city and cafes, as well as, just hanging around, going shopping. So English is widely accepted. Second, quality of life. A lot of people use bikes to get around here. So that's one of the things I like the most about being in Copenhagen is you just get on the bike, a helmet, the rules. If you are in the traffic and you want to stop, you have to raise your hands. It does not actually mean, hello, what's up, how's it going? It's more to inform someone that you will stop. So raising your hand means stop. Of course, turning right, hand to the right, and turn left, arrow, just your hand to the left. That's one of the things I like as well. So biking, it's really nice. It's friendly for everyone. Kids, teenagers, adults, elderly people, everyone bikes around the city. One of the things about safety as well. If you're from South America, you know that safety matters. And here, I actually feel extremely safe. I can get around with my phone, whether it is in my pocket or on the back of my jeans. Most likely nothing happens, of course. You may think, oh, what about, pickpockets? Yeah, unfortunately may happen, but less likely as well. So it's not something, people think when they are walking the street, if someone's gonna come and pick up their phone out of their pocket. So the quality of life aligned with safety, that's one of the things we like very much. Public transportation here is extremely good. Whether you take a bus, a train, a metro, everything is well signalized. We get information everywhere and screens, and everything's on time, so you can rely on public transportation too. So number 3, nature and city balance. We do have, Denmark in general, 2/3 of the country, if I'm not mistaken, it's covered by green. We have farms and nature everywhere. Although you live in a city center in Copenhagen, about 15 minutes from the city, you have really nice green areas to ride a horse or even bring your bike with you. You can just get on the train. My favorite place is called Dyrehavn. It's the deer park. It's unbelievable, beautiful for nature lovers. If you like being, next to nature, if this is your spirit, it's really nice. But even though you are in the city center and you don't want to take a train and go that far to actually feel this, we do have lots of stuff around. An example, we have Rosenborg Castle. Rosenborg is located at Kongshave and in the King's Garden. And then there's this huge, it's the same as, I'd say, in my opinion, of course, in a shorter version of being in New York, in Manhattan, and then you have Central Park. So that's something like this. So whether you are in a city center, this nature city balance always follows up. Food and culture aligned. So from Brazil, I actually I like warm food such as beans and rice, as we call them, feijoada. And when I came here, I was like, oh, what you guys eat? So then in Denmark, then I cannot say the national food, but what people eat the most is called smørrebrød. Some open sandwiches, breads with salmon, could come with eggs, could come with fish. This is actually really good and healthy as well, so they actually eat really healthy here. After going through the first 5 good things that I like about Denmark, which I will state again: international welcome atmosphere, quality of life and safety, nature and city balance, food, culture, opportunities, and stability. All those things are amazing. However, There is something rotten in the state of Denmark, William Shakespeare once said. Well, what is wrong about being here? Number one, weather and darkness. Jesus Christ, man. I can tell you, the weather here, sorry, but sucks. We do have to deal with the fact that the blue sky, disappears, and then we do have long winters. So if you are the type that love being out, going to the beach, meeting your friends outside the house, this might not be the best country for you. This is one of the things that I had to deal with when I moved to Copenhagen, is the fact that you have to buy clothes, the right clothes for the right weather. In Brazil, we use flip-flops, Havaianas every day with shorts and a t-shirt, and that's basically going to the shopping mall, seeing a movie or walk on the beach. Some people even use it to work. So coming here, putting clothes on, understanding that I had to buy different shoes for different seasons. Well, in Brazil, I only had one type of shoes, or probably Havaiana the last 2 years. But here, I had to buy proper shoes for autumn as well as for the winter and for the summer, and that goes. So in the summer, we don't have long daylight. It's around 3 in the morning, the sunrise, and the sun sets around midnight, almost like 10:30, 11 o'clock p.m. So a long day of sun. Even though it's midnight, you can still see it's bright. It's not really dark. In contrast to this, during the winter, we do have the sun rising around 9 in the morning and set 3 o'clock. So we do have a short day. For you working in the office, if you go to work, it's dark. When you leave the office, it's dark. So you actually feel that's being dark most of the time. And I'm talking about at least 3 months like that. However, we have the feeling that it lasts longer because, after winter, which finishes around April, and then it starts spring, sometimes can still be dark, but the sensation of the light gets people into a better mood. What do I start doing when I moved to here was to calculate every day 2 minutes to either towards the sun or towards the darkness. How is that possible? From December 20th, it's like the longest, darkest day of the year. It's the 20th of December. However, in June 20, it's the longest, brightest day of the year. So from that day on, if it's December 21st, 22nd, an example onwards, we do have plus 2 minutes of daylight every day, which ends up in the summer having sun rising really early and sunset really late. So it can go the other way around too. So all of us start living life like this. Number 2, housing market. My friend, to live in Copenhagen city center is extremely expensive. One of the most expensive places in Rio, an example where I come from, we call Leblon, Ipanema, and some areas such as São Conrado Beach and Barra. You can find an apartment for renting between 6 to 10,000 Brazilian reais, which is about 1,500 to 2,000 US dollars a month. But this here is just for a small studio. So it's not a huge apartment, it's just a small studio. Although you make money, the cost of living here is really expensive. Food is extremely expensive too. So part on the budget, you have to be sure that a cup of coffee here, if you just go to the bakery and say, excuse me, may I have a studio? So it's not a huge apartment, it's just a small studio. Although you make money, the cost of living here is really expensive. So be prepared for that. Rent can be really expensive. And financing a house is possible, but you gotta be Danish to do this, or if you are married to a Danish. So you can actually have the allowance to buy it once you live here and you have payment to it. Language barrier, yeah. Learning Danish can be really, really tough. So if you are, from a Latin America country like me, and you come here and you are used to hear Spanish or French, Italian, or English, which is, used worldwide, to listen to Danish can be really chaotic because you have no idea what people are talking. And when you speak English, although you try to speak Danish, a lot of people tend to reply back in English. So you feel like, oh, he doesn't really help me at all. But there are schools for it, like I know thanks to God, YouTube is that. So if you and I actually have some Danish classes, we do have access to it, although the language is not easy at all. Cost of living, yes, as I said, that includes in supermarket prices, leasing of a car, housing. Life here is not cheap. And cultural differences, yes, we are pretty much like outdoor people. We love talking, you know, making friends, going to parties and so on. Here people are more reserved. Some people actually say cold. I don't like the word cold. I think it's not really respectful, you know, to the culture, but people are more reserved. So do not expect to find Danish friends from one day to the other. I've been living here for 10 years and I still can count in one hand. You know, we were pretty much used to people texting one another on WhatsApp. What are you doing today? Let's go out to the beach. We make no plans in Brazil. Wake up in the morning and well, let's see what's up. It's sunny. Let's go to the beach. Just like type some phone numbers, call people. Like 2 or 3 minutes later, we are out of the house, meeting up somewhere. Here, it's not like this. People are always busy and they leave after a agenda. So prepare yourself for it. It's not easy to make friends, but once you have them, I can tell you, they are really honest. I really like Danish people for it. So if they don't like something, they don't care. They just say it. I don't like it. It's not being rude. It's just being straight to the point. Well, take it as you like. But Danes are friendly but reserved. End of line. This was just a overall experience myself. I don't know how it's gonna come up on YouTube, but well, this is it from now. I hope you like it. I will come up with more experience about being in Denmark, especially if you are a family moving here with kids. I do have 2 myself. Enjoy and have a good day.